All right, welcome to week 6, Murders of Karlov Manor. We're here right at the kickoff, so first match of week 6, and we got a good one here. We got Ryan D, the Slickness, against John P, Goku or Go Home, and this is a death match, which means both players are at 10 losses. One of them will be eliminating the other, and we got Mitch here with us filling in for commentary, and he's about to discuss John's hand.
Yeah, welcome into the show, as John is going to say for sure. This next podcast episode, he had to put a one-lander on the bottom, unfortunately. Kept the three-lander
Same.
now with push pull, slide from the shadows, and Loxodon eavesdropper. Your boy.
Ooh, yeah, so same situation for Ryan as far as what he needed to mulligan, but he's kept a novice two novice inspectors here. He put a third novice inspector on the bottom because he only has one planes. Um,
Mm.
so in hand he has inside source, case of burning masks, the other novice inspector, and two mountains, and now a third mountain. So nice little start here. I know Ryan is going with the Boros deck, obviously, and I believe John's deck is a bit of a more slower strategy here. So we'll see if he can fend off these early creatures.
Top deck was a card that's going in the graveyard right now. Land
Okay.
Fixer, Topiary Panther.
Yeah, so I suspect John is running the same deck that I saw him run earlier in the league. I know when he played against me, he just pulled my Panthers out of my graveyard and beat my face with them both games there. The push pull. But we got a novice inspector showdown. I can't say I'm
Yeah,
unhappy here.
look at this board. Now, push pull is a pretty good combo with Topiary Panthers in the deck. Hey,
Yeah, and as we saw in an earlier match today, push pull is also good with Yorion that somebody was running, and if
okay,
you bring back the
okay.
Yorion and then it blinks, it could blink the other creature that would have got sacrificed and anything else you got lying around. So,
I'm guessing
but
you want
that's
to
a
blink
story.
your
That's
you
a
want
story
to
for a
you want
different
to
day.
you want to reanimate your own other creature.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Yeah. So
yeah, you
that's
have to be in the
like
same
I said.
graveyard anyway. But yeah, slice
Yeah.
from the shadows now for one.
I mean,
That's the competition.
it's such a no. You just got to draw the card, dude. Like you can't really slice any of these creatures and feel okay about it.
It was very nearly on the step, though. I'll tell you that. Your boy's coming down though.
Oh, there he is. He might be the sad victim of this case of the burning masks here. And he can actually solve it this turn because he can just kill this elephant, attack with the three creatures that are not the 1/1, and he'll be able to draw a card next turn. So Boros deck being appropriately fast. He only has mountains in hand, but he has like three virtual draws now, right? He has the two clues and now this case, so he'll be able to
Yeah.
find some action here.
A lot of these cases have well, they're made in they're designed in a bunch of different ways. This is an example of one that's very useful. Comes down trivial to solve, but the upside when you solve it isn't that huge. And there's a wide variety of different cases we see. Art Druid Charm was the draw here.
I
So
mean, it's a hard to cast removal spell that will probably eventually draw a card. I mean, that's still a good card.
yeah, I mean, Case of the Hot House is kind of a different example. It could be
Yeah.
stone nothing at
So
one point,
planes
and then
drawn for turn here. So no, nothing good in hand. But he has a choice between a makeshift binding and a museum night watch, and it's going to have to be museum night watch here because makeshift binding doesn't hit anything. So I think it's just going to be the museum night watch here. Yeah. So John often says Ryan D. He's my nemesis. He's my nemesis. He always beats. He always wins against me. So once they got paired up in the feature match, I went to go to the head-to-head tab in our stats thing, and his claims were very well supported. Ryan
his
has
nemesis.
him. Ryan has him 11-3 in, as far as their encounters. All
John's
right.
gonna top with Arc Druid's Charm being castable with 3 green sources, and that card, having played with it, offers a whole bunch of different options on your turn. Obviously, killing an enchantment isn't the best thing here, just getting your 1 drop back, but
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised that he went for the makeshift binding over just putting a creature into play, since there wasn't really any good targets with makeshift binding. But I mean, he said I want to get something off the board, and here comes Lazav.
hmm,
If he gets to
there's a
attack, there'll be some good stuff going on here.
yeah, it could
There
turn into a 5.
there is a panther, yeah. All right, so Draws another novice inspector. This man and his novice inspectors just
Sheesh.
won't stop. I can't say I'm sad to see all of these beautiful little 1/2 creatures. He's drawn a galvanize as well, so unless he fears a pump spell or something, he's likely going to be pointing that at Lazov and trying to get this game over with.
Love is another card that offers a lot of options on your turn.
Yeah, so
Oftentimes.
the Archdruid's Charm not currently castable with the mana untapped, but he does have 3 green. Just his blue that
Yeah,
he needed for Lazava was also tied up in that green land. Okay, so
exactly.
he
So
says, "I'm just going to attack. I don't need to galvanize this yet. Let's I'll see what John does."
now this inspector is a detective, so it's better than Thraben Inspector in this situation. Look at that.
Hmm. I mean, I feel like they should just go back and Oracle because I think outside of like unsets, there weren't really, or maybe supplemental products. We like, this is the first actual like real set that we draft with that has a detective type. And often when they introduce like a new type, they often go back and change a lot of old cards. So
Yeah.
maybe we'll get some things change into detectives over time. We'll see.
John's got a public thoroughfare in hand, but probably the worst course to kill board I've ever seen. It has a course to kill
I
in
mean,
hand.
if you got to do it, you got to do it. But
I mean, an empty board's probably worse course to kill board. But
I mean, it's still a 2 for 1, even if it's 5 mana and taking a very low value target. You know,
well,
he's
you gotta do what you gotta do.
no.
Can
I mean,
aggro
when
them.
you're at 9, you got to. I mean, Lazav only starts really doing something when it attacks, and obviously he's not in a position to attack. And even if he does attack, Ryan could just galvanize it before it could become something scary. So it's like Ryan. Okay, he's got a all right. He's got an interesting card that he drew. Perhaps some people may remember it from All Will Be One, which is the Furnace Strider.
5
So
haste.
yeah, it's a 5 mana 4/5 that can grant haste to something twice, including itself with the oil
Yeah,
counters.
yeah, pretty handy in that set.
Yeah.
It's gonna run into his own death touched creature if he plays it out here.
I mean, he could galvanize as well. He's got 7 here, so he might just say, "Let's galvanize," and I'll I'll attack. He also has a dog walker, so he could play the furnace rider, play dog walker face up, and grant both haste. I don't know if that's his best course of action, but
I would push through a couple damage, it seems.
no, I think he's just going to galvanize here. He's going to galvanize the novice inspector, who turned on him,
Yeah, that's the right play.
and
I would think.
I assume just attack. I mean, does getting your opponent to 3 do more than getting your opponent to 5? I mean, in Boros, probably. I don't.
I mean, Furnace Strider is a detective, right?
Yeah, it's a Phyrexian detective. They do a lot of detective work over there.
Yeah. Yeah, the 2 cards in John's hand now, Archdruid Charm and Push Pull, so we'll see what the top deck is, but that's
So
all he's got
what
right now.
so what John could do is he could attack with the Lazov, turn it into something, and then use the Archdruid's Charm to kill the Furnace Strider. But he's just gonna keep it simple here, push this thing away, and keep himself alive here.
Uh, so again, Archdruid Charm is you can get a land from your deck or a creature from your deck.
Okay, so he is
You
gonna attack, and he's just going to. Okay, interesting.
land or land a creature from your deck. You can fight, put a counter on your guy and fight something, and then you can kill an exile an artifact or enchantment
Yeah.
with remove.
So Archdruid's Charm almost certainly will be cast here. What
So
it's
you're
going to do, well, remains to be seen.
probably gonna tutor for something. I'm guessing, unless something goes
All right,
another
so
haster comes out.
escape tunnel has been drawn here, which could sneak in the last couple points of damage at some point here.
Okay, that might change things.
Yeah,
There's
well, Ryan doesn't have to play the escape tunnel until right before he attacks, right? He can just hold on to it for as long as he wishes.
getting back his creature by Destroying the enchantment. Not the worst.
I
There's
mean,
still,
this does give an extra clue for Lazav potentially.
yeah, draw a card basically as well.
Okay, so he's gonna play his dog walker here face down and hope that John can't find one of his big scary cards. I'm sure he's got some big scary stuff in there. Okay, so I don't think Lazav's gonna become anything. Nope.
Nothing.
All right.
Not a bad pickup here, buried in the garden.
Okay. I mean, if he targets the face down, it's unfortunate because it's a dog walker. So you know, you'll get the 3-1, but the dogs will run loose after their owner gets buried. A little morbid, but it has to be this way.
Hanging on at 3 life.
All right.
I'm
So
sure
the walker got
there's an
buried, and the dogs go on.
there's got to be an honor job somewhere in that deck, right? He's cracking the clue just to
I would
see what
have to
it.
imagine. Let's see what he wants to do here. Something cool? No, he's just gonna leave. I assume he's just gonna leave it back on blocks. Yeah. All right. So I mean, Ryan could go for the play of attack all, put opponent to 1, and then escape tunnel the one remaining dog next turn, but that incurs a lot of risk. John will have 2 draws here to find something if he decides to attack with the Lazav.
There was an interesting card drawn. It's called Lazav, where it
So
places.
Ryan's gone on, are attempting to maintain full control here.
Can give your Lazav pseudo vigilance by playing your second Lazav. It's the only other option at this moment besides cracking the clue. So we'll see if
I
he
mean,
gets.
he needs to draw the cards, right? So
Yeah,
okay, let's see. Shapeshifter Detective, of course. And you could just crack the clue to
evading.
get in some extra damage here, I suppose.
That is
Especially
true.
if Belazov's dying. It's yeah. I just said, oh, I'll do you 4.
Found a blocker with Topiary Panther. One, two,
So
three,
okay,
four.
so the Lazav won't actually die until it wouldn't die until Ryan's turn because one of them will still be the Furnace Strider, but it would then die after. But
Oh, he's
instead, he's
not
just
playing it.
playing.
He's not playing it
Okay,
out.
he's got the Topiary Panther now. Ryan's drawn a. I mean, it's a redraw, but next turn the tap land from all will be one here. So he gets a draw, but not until next time.
The draw is Nervous Gardener, so just another land, basically. You can start putting on some pressure with Topiary Panther. It's hard to attack, though, with 3 life. But you gotta do
Yeah,
it at some
yeah. The Topiary Panther is a nice way to get the game done quickly, right? Like he needs to close the game, and this is gonna help. He may
How
just
about a
opt to do
second?
12 here, right?
Yeah, how about
Yeah,
a second Topiary Panther?
yeah. So now Ryan's down to having to win this coming turn, and with only an escape tunnel in hand, he'll need some help.
You need a shock, escape tunnel shock, something like that.
What's the
There's
face
2
down here?
gardeners. There were 2 gardeners.
Okay,
Not the best
gardeners.
time
Shit.
to draw
Okay.
them, but they were there.
So if Ryan finds a pump spell or a burn spell that deals direct damage to the player, then he'll get the game. Otherwise, well, John will be taking this one. It seems.
He's got the mana for it. Oh, we're
Okay.
gonna see that interaction between legendary. Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So okay. So
Big, big.
it's at like a cleanup step. I think that happened. Oh, he actually drew Auspicious Arrival.
Oh, it's lethal then.
He's drawing a card first. Hopefully
It's
he sees it. He got on the job too. So it's all kinds of dead here. As long as he cracks the escape tunnel before he casts the pump spell. Yeah. So he needed a draw, and he got the Auspicious Arrival.
empty-handed, so
Yeah, nothing to be afraid of here. Just go in and show John the bad news here. All that hard work. He worked so hard to come back and build a board and get his opponent dead as quick as he could, and this novice inspector just escapes in the middle of the night and pokes John to death here.
Surviving at 3, tough one. There's a lot of ways to do direct damage with this color pair.
He slithered through the escape tunnel and found his way. All right,
All right,
so
I'm
on
gonna
to
see if there's
sideboarding
anything
here.
interesting. 2 Killer Among Us in this deck. A deadly cover-up which would sweep the board. Could be devastating. An outrageous robbery. 2 Lazavs, which we saw. Um, Nothing too surprising otherwise. No
Yeah.
Witnesses, another sweeper. So the black
Okay.
and the white sweeper from this set.
Wow. Pretty good. Ryan's got a pretty straightforward Boros deck here. You know, nothing too crazy going on. He's still looking at the board here in John's graveyard. So I didn't get a great look at his deck, but like I said, looked like very straightforward strategy. He's got a Krenko there. I spotted, and he seems to be making a lot of clues potentially. So that's not bad.
John didn't lock in too many changes. I don't know if there was any, but there was a card that I found very good against aggro, especially if you have some Panthers. The V2 Gazi, the 2-drop there.
Yeah, no,
Nice.
I mean that card's just good. I don't know if you're main decking it in week 5 and week 6, but if you have some, you definitely bring them in against this type of deck.
Yeah. My deck particularly does just because,
Yeah,
early gameplay.
appears so he's got 5 novice inspectors in his deck. The Krenko appears to be the only rare, so he's just going with he's got the 3 dog walkers, 3 makeshift bindings. He's just going as low as he can to the ground. I think I saw 2 shocks as well, so he's just trying to get his opponents dead fast. He had 2 gateway expresses as well, so
So
good, very good Boros cards, and he's looking now at 5 lands and 2 galvanize.
you're telling me Ryan's coming into week 6 with 1 rare in this heavily rare format?
Maybe he was playing the rare dual land. Maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you can only cast 1 rare, 1 Krenko. Well,
Yeah. So what's John looking at here?
it was off color. It was 3 lands, but they didn't mesh up with his colors at all. Here in the mulligan, we see an Analyze the Pollen with 4 lands.
Okay.
Your boy and a Not on My Watch. So I think he's going to keep this and
Yeah.
have 3 lands.
5 lands and 2 galvanize. I don't think. Wow. Okay. So he has kept. The thing is, John's not looking really to play early threats, and then some of the threats that John's going to play are not going to be able to be galvanized. I think Ryan. I think it almost has to be a mulligan here. You need to just have creatures in play in the early game. But he says, "Look, I got 2 removals, and I'll draw my novice inspectors and get out of it. But only a mountain here for draw. So
How many does he have? Did we see?
what galvanize?
No, Novice Inspectors.
Oh, he has 5 in his deck.
All right. It's not constructed. You're allowed.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's where you want to be. All right, so he did get bailed out a little bit here, drawing a 2 drop, but his hand is still just galvanized, 2 galvanized and lands. So this 2/2
Yeah.
without support doesn't really have any text on it.
The worst thing about Galvanize is you can't kill a face-down creature. Oh, he didn't play the Flourishing Bloomkin out. He's actually going to Not on My Watch the attacking Guardian.
Okay,
See?
I think that's a fair assessment, just because he said I don't want it to just get killed for no reason,
Mm-hmm.
by a shock or something.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, Neighborhood
So
Guardian goes off. Novice Inspector, good draw. He's hoping to find more. Yeah. So if the elephant is coming down, I would not be surprised if it got hit by a galvanize. Poor
yep,
guy. Poor
there
guy.
is a new card drawn. Yeah, he's playing the Eavesdropper. The card drawn though was buried in the garden. You don't really want to bury an inspector, but he thought
This
about
guy
it for a
just
second.
he always gets galvanized. Man. He always. Your opponent has 2 open mana, one of them red, and you play your guy. You already know what's happening. All right,
Kind of like Cold Case Tracker getting binding all the time.
so another reasonable draw here with the person of interest. Just getting some board presence here. So still in hand is galvanize and the 2 lands. So he's been pretty good at picking up creatures here every turn. So all right, buried in the garden, hitting the interesting person.
2 mana up, it's Karaklu or put out a face up flourishing. Boomkin, I think the clue is probably going to be the play.
I
I
don't
didn't
think
tell
he
you
wants
what
to
the draw
play a
is.
2 mana 2/2.
No. Oh, he
He's
is
at 19. Okay, two
looking
mana.
defensive. Looking defensive.
Okay, he's playing the card Grizzly Bears, but
I
it does
didn't.
have upside. Grizzly
Oh yeah.
Bears with upside. Um,
No, the last card drawn was actually another copy of your boy, Loxodon Eavesdropper.
okay, so he cracks his clue here, and I assume he's just going to offer the trade and play his Dogwalker face down that he drew. Yep. And John's probably going to say no thank you to the trade because his creature can get bigger.
It's not a bear. He doesn't want to trade.
Yeah, so so John's not like behind on life total yet, but Ryan does have the cards in hand over him right now. So let's see how he. Okay,
Yeah,
good one.
it's playing out the hand here.
Oh, my boy.
Yeah. So he just top deck Lazav and that 6 mana because of the Buried in the Garden. That's
And
perfect play. Right?
he can have Lazav become an eavesdropper too. You see, all right? He's
Uh,
trying an
other,
auspicious arrival here, so probably thinking about best way to make use of that to get something good off the board here.
Thinking to swing out and buff, but you could flip first, right? That's another thought.
Yep. Yeah, so he has the dog walker here, so I think he's deciding what kind of attacks he wants to make. I have to figure there will be attacks.
Might be with the two bigger creatures though, because you
I
can't
mean,
trick two things.
yeah. Like
What's the other card?
I think by week 6, if your opponent is playing a Boros aggressive deck, you can reasonably narrow down what the face down creature might be. If you're just thinking about like commons. Right? It's like Dog Walker, Museum Night Watch, maybe a Granite Witness.
Yeah, it's
Like
probably
there's
not
not
the
too
four.
many other commons that a Boros aggressive deck is going to be
Yeah,
playing
it's
face
not the
down.
4/3 flyer at this point. You can tell.
No. All right.
What are the other cards in hand besides the auspicious?
Well, he has the Galvanize here that
Oh,
he's thinking about just knocking off this Lazav here before it can get some more value.
interesting thing about this set is, yeah, your opponent's empty-handed, but you could tell they have two more cards in hand in a way.
Yep. Well, I mean, it is at a cost. You have to pay mana for it, but yeah, Clues is just such a good. It's just such a very good, well done mechanic. Interesting going after the elephant here rather than the Lazav.
Well, it's a fifth dimensional chess if he expects him to draw a second Lazav, which would be the play.
But yeah, okay, you're not wrong. So he surveilled
Bird
something
in
on
the
top here, right?
is Bird in the Garden, a second copy. Pretty nice.
Okay. See if he deems the dog walker good enough to bury.
At 14 life here, on the job looking scary, but he doesn't. We know he doesn't have it, but what could be on top of the deck?
What's on? Are you saying? Are you asking what's on top of the deck?
Is there a lightning helix? There must be a lightning helix.
I don't. I don't believe. I'm not certain, but I don't believe so. All right, so pretty
That'll be
nice
poetic.
draw here. Like just a very large creature, and he does have the pump spell to back it up here. So if John does attempt a double block, it's going to be very bad for him. Instead, he's just going for a more conservative line of blocks here. And Ryan can choose to destroy either one of John's creatures with this auspicious arrival. So let's see if he would he rather kill Lazav, which can get value, or the Bloomkin, which can just become gigantic. And he says, I'll get the Lazav here and put my opponent to 8. And he also has more haste potentially coming down the line here with the Furnace Strider's ability. So
Land on top is not very good for John.
scary, yeah, very scary potential here.
Oh, he gets to give his creature +1/+1 because he drew a forest.
All right, well, I mean that's
No,
better than not, unless Ryan had make your move. If you had make your move, it would be bad, but
no. If
All
I
right.
was writing an AGL movie script right now, I would have Lightning Helix on top of the deck to finish John's league.
Oh boy. Well, it's a Museum Night Watch, which could also contribute highly to ending the league here. He just plays it, gives it haste, and John has to jump block. Looks like he has to jump block here and go
Looks
to
like it.
two. No, he can eat the Museum Night Watch and go to one, but then Ryan will still have a 2-2 left over.
He has to clear board. We know he has two board clears in the deck, a black one
Yeah,
and a white one.
right. Ryan's
So there's
gonna see
two
if he
white
has a
draws.
shock on top. What's on top of the deck? It's not a shock.
What's on top of the deck? It's only red.
It's not a
Now
shock,
there's two outs. There's plenty of ways to draw cards too, but I don't know if you can do that and afford to play a
right? So
birthday topiary.
unless he's got the board wipe here, it looks like John's gonna be falling again to his seems like eternal nemesis here, Ryan, who gets the victory here to stay alive. And congratulations to him. And John's journey has ended for this league. So thanks for watching, and we'll be back in a little bit with our second match of the week.